Hey guys, my name's Bradley, you're watching Daily Weekly Builds, and this is my LEGO studio. Let's take a look. And the first thing I want to mention is that this room, despite having a lovely carpeted floor, it does have very creaky, noisy floorboards underneath. So if you can hear some of that while I'm walking around, apologies. On with the tour. Starting off with the elephant in the room, on top of the tables is of course my LEGO city, which is very much a work in progress. I would say the most complete area is definitely the harbour. It's probably my favourite area so far, although I still need to go back in and add some minifigures and some smaller details, but otherwise, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, with a train yard there, cranes going on ships and trucks, but that is pretty cool. If you want to see more of my LEGO city, then make sure you are subscribed because there are updates coming out all the time. And then the newest area of the city would have to be the construction or demolition site here. I just added this recently because the city is expanding, and I do have plans for buildings that are going to go here, but for now, just to make it look a bit more interesting, I added in a bunch of construction vehicles, and I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. If you guys are interested in seeing a full city tour, tell me down in the comments and maybe I'll make a video on that in the future. And moving along from the construction site, alongside on the same tabletops area is my work area. This is where I sit and build sets and work on the city and edit reviews on the iPad there, watch a bit of TV as well. And just beside is my Star Wars minifigure collection. I've got my microphone there, I've got some things set up ready to go if needed. But as the city continues to expand, I'm considering moving my workspace elsewhere in the studio so I can let the city kind of take over this area of the tables as well. On the other side of the room here, we have another table with some more of my parts that are just, well, to be sorted. They are organised, they're mostly bricks really, they're organised by part size. So we've got 1 by bricks, 2 by bricks, that sort of thing, all in individual containers. And I did have all of my parts on this table in these containers, but I've since opted to go for storage unit drawers instead. And I prefer them, they're much easier to use and they're just the kind of the end game for LEGO storage, I would say. So I need to get a couple more just to fit all these bricks in, then I can clear up this table and maybe use it as like a little diorama table with some temporary displays. And then just behind that table we have 2 more tables, which was originally a temporary space. This is where I've had my winter village displayed last year, so it took up both of these tables. These are the IKEA tables, 100 centimeters by 60 centimeters. I highly recommend them. They're pretty good, cheap, affordable, and work great for LEGO, so that's a win-win for me. At the moment, it's just got some more of the parts that are organised, a set from Funhole, which I really like. That's a pretty cool one. And I'm also in the middle of selling some LEGO, so just having some sets out just to take pictures and upload them online. But this could be where my workspace could move, so I can expand the city, or I could continue to use it as like a little temporary display installation for my winter village, Wild West layout, things like that. So it's nice to have this area just to, well, at the moment it's kind of not being used the best, but at least I have more space to do more things. And as I said, I'm currently selling some LEGO, so that's why there's sets all over the floor here that I'm ready to move on. Underneath these tables I keep some packaging and empty boxes so I can sell LEGO and make sure it's all protected, nice and safe. And then under this one is where I keep all my investment sets and sets that I'm planning to sell on, so they can go there. There's a light stand that's just in the way at the moment, so I keep all those there. We have a bin for rubbish. Of course, if you're building LEGO sets, you're gonna get rubbish, whether it's plastic packaging or paper recycling. You know, we don't get much paper, still getting quite a lot of plastic, so hopefully we see more recycling in the future from LEGO. But underneath this parts table is just some larger plates and train track base plates and things, but also I have so many boxes of instruction manuals that I don't have it in me to get rid of them, even though they just sit in these boxes. These boxes weigh a ton, they're so heavy, all the paper that's just in there, but they're taking up space. I don't need them anymore, but I don't want to get rid of them. Are you the same? Do you keep hold of your instructions after so long? Tell me in the comments. And then in this bag is just where I keep some tripods and some lighting stands, that sort of thing. And moving underneath the city tables is where I keep my built sets. This is mostly LEGO City stuff because, of course, I'm working on LEGO City. I've got to have more sets to include. And each one of these is sorted by type as well. I love organising things. Everything's got to be organised. Everything has a place. So we've got our construction and service vehicles, some more everyday vehicles, cars, buses, that sort of thing. Then we've got some police and emergency vehicles down below. In these boxes I've got buildings and some speed champions. Harry Potter sets are in there as well, some other sets, Got my trains in that top box, some little city add-ons and details, and then aircraft, helicopters, planes are in that box down there. And because I'm always getting more Lego, I needed some more boxes, so I picked those up recently. And as you can see just behind, I have some sets here as well. This is my personal backlog at the moment. I've got some Jurassic Park sets that I want to build and maybe create a little diorama on one of those tables that I talked about. So there's a few sets tucked away on there. I've kind of worked through most of my backlog, so there's not too many sets there. And then just next to that, we have my parts collection and these storage units. I'm so happy I got these. They're a little bit pricey, and I still need to get a couple more to fit those extra leftover parts in. But yeah, just to have all my parts organized, mostly by part type. And if you're sorting Lego, I'd recommend sorting by color first, then going into part type. It just makes everything so much easier. So in this one, there's mostly my vehicle stuff here. Got plates on this side all organized, and it just makes building things so much easier. And I feel proper now that I've got these. Like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm a proper Lego YouTuber with my parts in drawers like this. Great stuff. But yeah, highly recommend. Very good. And just next to that, I have plenty of the road plate packs for when I expand the city, so got plenty of those for a really good price. Here's my chair. Move that out of the way. A couple more sets of like larger ones from my personal backlog with Assembly Square, the police station, and El Dorado Fortress. Sets that are very valuable, mean a lot to me, but I haven't built yet because I don't have a place for them. So yeah, do I sell them because I've had them for a few years now? Do I build them and then what, put them in a plastic box? No, they need to be displayed, so I need to work on that. But here are some more sets in boxes, mostly my Star Wars sets and Winter Village stuff. I keep the Winter Village stuff at the back because, you know, I don't need it out all year round, so that's fine, out the way it goes. But some of my Star Wars sets, I might need to display a few more of those. And speaking of display, well, as you can see, I've got 3 shelves up at the moment with some sets on display with some Star Wars, some Marvel, some other little things, some of my own mocks. Let's take a closer look at these. Oh, but before we get to the shelves, doesn't the sign look cool? On air, TDW, which stands for the Daily Weekly, because Daily Weekly Builds is just one of 4 YouTube channels that I do. They're all part of the Daily Weekly brand. So you've got the Daily Weekly Show, which is your more fun variety show with games and challenges. Daily Weekly Extra, which is full of behind the scenes and outtakes, bloopers, that sort of thing. Daily Weekly Podcast, which is the entertainment movie news podcast. And then of course Daily Weekly Builds, which is the lovely Lego channel, which you're all watching right now, and I hope you are enjoying it. If you're interested for more, please do subscribe. And maybe check out some of my other work whilst you're at it. The colour scheme of Daily Weekly Builds is green. That's why we've got a nice green brick in this little photo frame here. As for the shelves then, got a couple of sets on display here, including some mocks in this Newton's Cradle, which looks like the real thing, but it doesn't really work like the real thing, and it is very fragile. So it looks cool, but yeah, not quite practical enough. Then we've got the Avengers Age of Ultron sets from more recent times. Really like these ones. They're pretty cool. And my custom, all using Lego parts, Wolverine claws here. Very proud of how that turned out, and the dog tags as well. Made videos on that. Check them out if you're interested. It's so cool. And I did start doing YouTube with my best friend Jake, so here we are in an unreleased Daily Weekly Builds video. Maybe that video is coming soon, so who knows. And some other people I worked with on various YouTube projects over the years in Lego minifigure form. And then just above this is the new shelf that I put up not too long ago. Just a few official sets just up there for now. It's a little bit empty. I could put more up there, but I need to build more to display. Although I do quite like these. The dinosaur fossil skull, the piranha plant for Mario, and the Lego Ideas Sailboat Adventure. Some all really nice sets. Oh, plus the Lego Creator 3-in-1 camera there, the retro camera. I like that. And last, by certainly no means least, we have this shelf here with some Star Wars ships along the top, with some other little sci-fi and spacey bits down below, with my custom mocks here with the 10th Doctor sonic screwdriver there. Pretty cool of how that turned out. I made a video on that as well. There's videos of pretty much everything here, so if you want to see more of something, have a look on the channel. You'll probably find a video for it. Here we have the Interstellar Ranger with my custom minifigure there and TARS or case. Pretty cool. Back to the Future DeLorean. Not my design, but one I'm very happy to build. Minifig scale, that's nice to see. Obviously the Buzz Lightyear XLR-15 spaceship, a really good set, actually. I like that one. And a toy sonic screwdriver just to remind me that, yeah, that's what I based that on. They look pretty similar. And you might notice these display stands. Well, that brings us into today's sponsor. So these display stands here are by a company called iDisplayIt. I've worked with them in the past, and they're sponsoring today's video because I've got some more to show you, which is pretty cool. And what I like about them is they're so simple. They're so just, well, yeah, simple, honestly, but it works. As you can see, they're clear acrylic. So from a distance, you can't really see the stand, and it looks like the ship. And it looks like the Star Wars ships here are really just flying through the air. They're angled. You got flat ones, different heights to get that different to get that different posing. Yeah, I'm very happy with how these turned out. They did send them to me for free, but I promise you all opinions are my own. As I said, I've reviewed these before, so I know what they're like. I've tried, I've tested them, and these have been out for a very long time now, so no issues on quality there. Let's take a look, because they have sent me some more. So here we have what they've sent me today. Let's take out the invoice, and as you can see, this is how it comes. Everything is so safely protected, even in such a small box. So much bubble wrap and individual packets. And we have 3 display stands to take a look at. So we have our 12cm angled stand, we've got our 8cm angled stand, and our big one, the 24cm angled stand. So I like the angled stands. The flat ones are fine as well, because, you know, it's good to just display something flat sometimes, but for Star Wars ships especially, to have them at an angle, it just makes them look so much cooler. So starting off with our 8cm stand here, as you can see, hold up, it's blue. What? No, don't worry, that's just a protective layer on the acrylic. You just peel that off. But I guess if you wanted to keep it blue, you could leave it on there. It's kind of a cool look. Oh, and you see these pink studs? Yeah, these are official LEGO parts, so they help you attach the models to your display stand. I'll show you that. So first things first, let's peel off the protective layer on the acrylic. There we go, I've peeled off the protective layer, and that's probably the most tedious part about the whole thing, and it might be a bit difficult here to try and pick out the corner and try and get it off, but that's good. It keeps the plastic protected. It's absolutely crystal clear, no scratches or smears or anything, so it's really good high quality stuff, and it's exactly the same for the other 2 as well. And they just fit in like that. They're an exact fit. It's not loose or anything. That isn't going to come out unless you really try and pull it out, so no worries about that. And next up, each display stand also includes 2 bases, so you can attach these obviously onto the top of the stand here. Depending on how big the Lego set that you're also displaying is, it gives you a wider base or a smaller base. You get 4 little studs included as attachment points, but obviously since there are so many extra holes, if you have more 1x1 round studs in your collection, you could add more for a more secure connection if you're worried about that. But all the ones that I've displayed currently only use the 4 studs included, and they haven't fallen off. It's good clutch power, so no issues there. So yeah, depending on the size, you can put them in at different orientations, and that's the same, like I said, for the other 2 sizes as well. But it's all well and good having these display stands, but now I've got to find something to display it with. So I've got out my box of built Star Wars sets, and luckily for me, the ones I want are right on top. That's so easy. And then you just place in your little pink studs, pop them on there, and then add on the topper. Fits in nice and easily like that, and now you can place your set. And just like that, we have our pirate snub fighter on the display stand here, as if it's just taken off. Pretty cool. Okay, I did have to add a couple pieces to this one, just because of how it doesn't really have, you know, it's quite narrow here, doesn't have ideal connection points. I could just move the pink studs into studs and that would solve that problem, but instead I just added a couple of 1x4 plates to click on there. But that shows you that, yeah, you can attach Lego to Lego. That's okay. And then I just put this back on, and that works just great. It's not going to fall off. It's cool posing. Of course, I could rearrange it if I wanted to, but yeah, pretty happy with that one. On to the other stands. There we go, there's our 12cm display stand done. Got the Fang Fighter here at a nice angle, pretty cool. On to the last one, the 24cm stand, which looks a little bit different because it's a little bit bigger. So with the 24cm stand, you get the 2 bits as usual. I went for the larger one here, and I suppose the worst thing that I've experienced about these display stands is that getting these studs in the holes is a little bit tricky, at least in my experience. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, maybe it'd be different for yours, but the instructions say it'll fit smoothly. I would say it fits rather snugly, perhaps a little too snug, but you know, they're in there. They're not going to come out of that, so that's fine. But as I said, the 24 display stand is a little bit different. It's got an extra component because it's so tall, just to kind of give it more structure along the base. You have an extra part here, so slot that in like this, and there you go. You've got your extra sturdy, strong base, so that isn't going to fall apart or anything, so no need to worry about that. Let's pop this on the top. And here we have our 12cm angled display stand and our 24cm angled display stand. Yeah, the real height on this one. And if you're interested in any of these display stands or plenty others that they have on their website, you can use the discount code on screen now to get 5% off your order throughout the month of April. So that's pretty cool. Thank you to my friends over at iDisplayIt. Again, they did send me these for free, but they didn't give me a script. They didn't even tell me what type of video to make. They just said, here you go, have these, and we look forward to seeing what you do with them. And this is what I've done. Hope you guys have enjoyed seeing these display stands. So let's place them on the shelves with the others and see how everything looks all done. And here we are, shelving updated, looking clean, simple. Each set is clearly its focus of its own on the wonderful display stand here. The clear acrylic, from a distance, you can't even tell it's there. the ships are really flying through the air. And of course, well, since I had more ships to display and more stands, I had to clear out this shelf. But you know, we are getting close to Star Wars month, so I guess it does make sense. And the good news is there is still plenty of room to squeeze in a few more ships, so I'll have to get hold of a few more stands. What do you guys think about these? Tell me down in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time for another video, and I hope you enjoyed this LEGO Studio tour. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel or on one of my other channels as well. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with your friends.